I want to explore today the feeling of there are no limits. In my mind, my limitations sometimes have moments of I can't do this and I've done that before and oh, I'm too this and I'm too that. So if I can stop and ask myself, well, is that true? If it's true that there are no limits, that means that anything is possible.
I know life can be difficult, but don't you let it get you down. Really achieve. It's a new day, life without limits. Yeah. I know life can be difficult, but don't you let it get you down. Really achieve. It's a new day.
Hello and welcome once again to Life Without Limits. I am your host, Nikita Sharice, and we are coming to you from Detroit, Michigan, here a part of the world where we are revisioning, reimagining, redesigning what it looks like to live, work, and play in an urban area, what it looks like to pursue the life of your dreams, what it looks like to use your divine, God-given, and inspired talents to do some good in your community, and what that looks like while you're also dealing with day-to-day life and your responsibilities and whatever your various roles may be, because this is real and this is what's going on with people in this world today. And as we always like to do, of course, we are here to inspire you, we are here to encourage you, but if we do nothing else, we want to empower you to take a step, to make a choice, to make a decision, to pick up that dream again, to know that if you still have breath in your body, it is not too late. I don't care how old you are. If you are still breathing, and this is something that I learned from Maya Angelou, who's in her 80s, there's still life to be lived. There's still things to be done. There's still goals to achieve. So don't think that it's too late, because when I hear folks sometimes, they're 18, 22, even 32, and acting like life is over and it's too late. Well, I'm going to tell you, I am happily approaching my 42nd year of life, and I'm grateful for that. That's a blessing to be alive. But I realize there are still things to achieve, still things to accomplish, and I'm not done living yet. There are greater goals to attain, and just a better experience of life to be enjoyed, and that's what I'm about. And also, my very special, wonderful guest that I love so much. I love this woman here so much because this woman is about that. This woman is about doing good. This woman has taken her life experience, her testimony, her what could be perceived as tragedies, but you've turned them into triumphs. And now many other women that maybe don't have the understanding or the fortitude or the whatever, and they would feel hopeless and alone because you've been where they are, and now you're there to come alongside them and encourage them. They have an opportunity to do something better, for their children. So, girl, I get emotional, but it's because of people like you that have gone through what you've gone through. And now, because of that, that's made you the woman that you are, that pushes and goes forward to encourage other women. So without any further ado, this is my guest, my sister, Kayln Risker. She is the executive director of SAFE, which is an acronym for Sisters Acquiring Financial Empowerment. And she's been doing this for many years. She has been, at times, what I observe from the outside, involved in even in uphill battles sometimes to do good in the community. And yes, people love and people support. And sometimes maybe they don't have the money to buy the ticket, but maybe there's something else. Because I know last year I wanted to volunteer with you, but a previous commitment kept me from it. So you gave me a list to call, and I did phone calls to remind people to come out and support. And even though that's all I could do something. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I really feel like it's all about. So Kayln, if you would please share with some of our listeners your story. How did SAFE come to be, and what did you experience to manifest SAFE?
Okay.
All right.
Well, as you know my story, in 1998, I was in a 7.5-year relationship, and we had a daughter together. She was 4.5 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the abuse in the relationship, I didn't know the signs.
Okay.
I didn't know that I was in an abusive relationship because the physical component wasn't a primary component of everything that was going on.
Okay.
So there were other signs that I didn't know, like trying to isolate me, control the money, intimidation, threats. But when the physical component manifested itself, when he, Labor Day weekend of 1998, he assaulted me to the point where he shattered my left eye socket. And I have a titanium implant there that replaces the bone.
And can I ask you this? This man put a gun to your eye or to your head? Or
No,
what?
he didn't have a weapon at all. He punched me.
Oh, okay. And oh my goodness.
He punched me, and I actually flew off of my feet.
The impact was so hard and the damage was so severe. So how do you come through that? A mother with a child that at the time has limited financial resources?
Correct, because he had a good job. I only worked part-time.
Okay.
So it was hard for me, as you can imagine, physically, emotionally, mentally, how could this person that I love so much, we live together, we have a child together, try to kill me?
Yes!
So it was hard to wrap my head around. But in addition to those challenges that you assume already, the bigger challenge was how in the world are we going to live and eat and take care of ourselves, especially since I still had double vision for quite some time.
Okay.
Actually, to this day, I still have some challenges. My eyesight is, I thank God that I can see out of both my eyes. The doctor said it was a miracle. Because the eye socket shattered, but none of the shards or the chips touched my optical nerve or my eyeball.
All right now.
So when they did the repair, they were just able to remove the bone and replace it with a titanium implant.
Wow.
So
you like Terminator psych.
Right.
For real. So you can laugh now, but back then.
And I make all kinds of jokes now, so don't even worry about it.
Right.
So,
and that's the thing, I think, for people that are going through this situation to know, it may be hell right now, but one day it is possible you will laugh. Okay.
So, all these years later, because that was 1998, so today I can laugh. And I do make jokes and say all kind of stuff. So,
what caused you to how did the idea for SAFE come?
Okay, so it was a progression. So I was going through all of these challenges, physical, mental, emotional, even my child. We went for counseling and we got support.
Yes.
And I needed to work.
Yes.
I didn't have the money. Yeah. And I'm trying to manage all of these different processes. And my doctor wouldn't release me to go back to work because I still had double vision.
Right.
And even to this day, what I was going to say, I have a restricted peripheral vision.
Really?
So, with all of this going on, but I still needed to work.
That's right, because you had a baby to feed.
Exactly. So what I did was I just quit my job and started working a new job, because on a new job, you don't need a return to work note.
Right. Okay. But
the challenge was that I was working for a payroll company doing payroll processing, and you heard me say I had double vision.
Oh, Lord. So you was paying folks too much? Or
too much, too little, some everything, right?
Okay.
For real, you can imagine. It was a hot mess.
Okay.
So the manager calls me into the office like, well, perhaps we started you off too aggressively.
Is that what they say?
That's what he said.
Okay.
And I was just sitting there, and all these thoughts going through my brain, like, okay, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want, it's a lot of stereotypes about survivors of domestic violence.
Yes.
I didn't want people to think I was stupid or like, I didn't want any problems on the job, so I didn't say anything.
Right.
And so actually that's something that I advocate a lot for as far as employers having more of an open door policy, because anything could happen. He could have came up to the job or anything, you know.
Yeah.
Other people, coworkers could have been at risk.
Yes.
Fortunately, that wasn't the case, but it could have been.
Yeah.
So, I just said, I didn't say anything. And so they demoted me. He was like, okay, but you have a lot of other skills that we need.
Right.
Customer service.
You just can't write no checks. Right?
Exactly. So we're going to
away from the calculator. 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay.
Right. Because the interesting thing was I had to relearn how to do a lot of things.
Okay.
So where before I used to look down on the typewriter and peck, like because of my double vision, that didn't work. So I had to relearn how to drive, how to type, how to do a lot of different stuff. I mean, even like tying my shoe, stuff that you take for granted, that you just kind of do out of your peripheral.
Yes.
And so, even like I had a younger daughter later, and I had her in 2002, and it didn't even click to me at the time. Like, you know, you moving on with your life or whatever, and I was trying to nurse her, and I couldn't see her, and I just started crying.
Oh.
I just started crying because it was like, oh my God, you know, it just
so
didn't
still
even...
residue from that relationship impacting your life.
And not in a way that I would have thought, but just, it kind of threw me off. Like,
you weren't expecting it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, back to the story. So, they retrained me. I ended up loving payroll. Was I, you know, but what they didn't know is I was getting stronger physically.
Yes.
And I had to relearn how to do some of these things. Right. And then I ended up loving the work. And I went from there into benefits, into human resource generalist. Right. And then I worked my way up through another company to be the human resource administrator for HMO in Detroit. While I worked as administrator, I was over everything from payroll to recruitment to training to reorganization, laying off people, everything in between. I was over the payroll and the benefits and all of that. And while I was doing that job, I met so many women who were going through domestic violence situations. But I was in a unique position because I saw how it affected them financially. I saw how checks was being garnished because the abuser was using the ATM and writing checks off their accounts.
So you just came upon you one day and you just...
Actually, I had a meeting with... It was two distinct incidents that happened. One was with an employee. And I was writing her up for attendance and productivity issues, and she said, let me tell you about something that's going on with me. She said, I know this would never happen to you. And I said, girl, please. Because this was after I had started a job in 2002. This happened to me in 1998. Right. And I'm like, yeah, it did, you know. And so we tried to help her with that point.
Because you had been through it.
But it was interesting because from the time it happened to the time that I started SAFE in 2006, I didn't talk about domestic violence. I wasn't like an advocate. I wasn't saying I wanted to do this. Right. I was just trying to take care of me and my daughter and go on with our lives and rebuild and grow and go back to school and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so, but that wasn't my path, I guess. Okay. So
here we are.
So here we are.
At SAFE's seventh
year.
Annual appreciation fundraiser this year. And I love this. I love this flyer because 7 is one of my favorite numbers. As I mentioned, I'm going to be 42 this year on 7/7. So, And I think this is a beautiful thing. It's going to be Friday, June 21st of this year at the Detroit Historical Museum. One of my favorite places in the world, really, since I was a child. And my favorite thing, I don't care how many times I go to that museum, is always Old Detroit in the basement. Old Detroit.
Well, that's where we're going to be at, in the basement.
Are you serious? Now, see, now I'm going to really have to do some what I got to do and get my ticket money. Okay. Oh, yeah. I love that. I love that. And the tickets are $45. And there are still sponsorship opportunities available.
Sponsorship opportunities.
Okay.
Tickets are available. And this event helps to fund our programs. We've helped over 730 survivors of domestic violence in Detroit since we started. Yes. Then we have a huge annual free community event that we do, our Empowerment Weekend. Yes. Friday is for survivors of domestic violence only to help them start their own businesses. So many businesses have been started since we started this project. Then the next day is our Health and Wealth Expo, and that's open to the community. It's domestic violence awareness, but so much more than that. Last year we gave out 3 bags of groceries, 1,000 bags of lunches. Okay. We had free health screens by Sinai Hospital. They'll be back again this year. Right. We had 18 different workshops on all topics from grant writing to how to eat on a budget. Whole Foods was there. So we have all these different great community partners to help us with this event. We had 750 people that came out last year in the rain. Okay. So this year, Vitamin Water had gave us 1,500 bottles of vitamin water. So this year we're expecting definitely over 1,000 people. It's going to be, this year it'll be held at WC3 Northwest Campus, Wayne County Community College, Northwest District. So we're really excited about that. So this fundraiser is so important to help us to help us with these things.
Make quality of life, daily living to reach out to somebody.
And so what we do specifically is we help, in addition to our program, our big events, we help survivors of domestic violence to become financially self-sufficient.
Yes.
So we help them seek work, budget, start their own business, with all these economic ways to get stable and back on your feet.
Yes.
Help connect you with other resources and programs and things like that. But how do you seek work if you're being stalked?
Oh.
That's what makes us different than other programs. Because we're working
Right.
specifically with the survivor of domestic violence. So all of those things are why we only have one fundraiser a year. People
Right.
think that we do a lot more things because they see
Right.
me posting up things on Facebook and our e-blasts and
Right.
whatnot. We only have one fundraiser a year. The other fundraisers that are done are businesses and entrepreneurs who do something and give us a portion of the proceeds.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But this is the only one that we actually produce ourselves, and it's
That's
the 21st of June at the Detroit Historical Museum
And
from
it's
5:30 to 9.
Yes.
The purpose of that is our appreciation event appreciates, because we're 100% volunteer run, including myself.
Yes.
And I do this full time.
I know. And you still got bills to pay. Yeah.
After 7 years, we still doing it.
Yes.
So it helps. So people can be confident that 100% of the proceeds is going to the organization.
And to actual programs that are going
Right.
to help these women. Or
So
whoever, yeah.
Exactly. So we do have an awards presentation for our volunteers, Client of the Year, our community sponsors, our corporate sponsors. We honor them with awards that were handmade by Michelle Smart of Elegance and Glass. She makes these
Really?
awesome awards, yes. So we give those. It's a program. And then from, we also have a live talk show going on. It's a lot of different things that are happening during the event.
Really?
And then from 9 to midnight is a celebration. We have live music with Zanye, wine tasting, food. We have food actually at 5:30. So
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I'm looking forward to this because, like I said, last year was a commitment that came up, and it came up, and I had to do it, and I'm like, but I've been waiting for this event. But definitely this year, I'm
Awesome.
planning to be there. And for more information, you guys can go to newsafestart.org. That's newsafestart.org. Someone may see Kayln Whisker and she's doing her thing and she's in the media and social media and she's on the news, and every time you look up she's getting an award from Carmanos or somebody. Everybody is giving her an award. And I'm like, for real, what do you do with all them awards? I mean, after a time, what, you just keep them on the coffee table and they rotate out to a box in the basement? Because I swear, girl, no, you ain't got to tell it. Okay, you ain't got to tell it because I don't want Carmanos to know that his award is downstairs next to your washing machine. I want him to know that. Okay, because we want to keep giving you awards. I'm playing with you. But I'm just saying. But the people don't see, though, that there are challenges, that we are all human beings, even if we're busy human beings, even if we're focused and efficient human beings, we're human beings.
yes.
And we have challenges. We have children, we have parents, we have other family members, we have family drama,
Right.
we have legitimate family crisis, we have financial experiences, healing opportunities, just life. And this is what I don't want people to get confused and think that, because here on Life Without Limits, I'm telling you wholeheartedly, I just believe, for me, it's like, this is not a game. It's now
That's
or
true.
never. But I don't want people to feel like, well, once you go forward and you're doing what God has called you to do, that it's going to be easy and beautiful. There are going to be bumps on the road. What are some things that you can say as a person that's living it, that's doing it, that's balancing life or aware of the need to balance life? Because I'm not sure how balanced you may be or not. I don't know. But I know that, hey, you're looking good. And I know that your heart is pure. You know what I'm saying? What do you do, or what practical advice could you give to someone, some person that, they want to do whatever it is, but they've got challenges,
Right.
and they just feel like, I can't really pursue and live my dream and handle all this. Is there some practical
Yes,
advice?
there's some advice I could give, because after 7 years, I've definitely had my faith tested on a lot of levels.
Yes.
So here's just some quick things that I've done to help me. One is get a mentor.
Okay.
So I have an awesome mentor. Her name is Umi Hankins. Actually, we're giving her an award this year. She is now over a co-director of a national domestic violence program.
Okay.
The Institute of Domestic Violence in the African American Community.
Wow.
So the mentor that you pick should be a few levels over where you are, where you're trying to go. They've already done what you've done. They can help to bring you up. They don't mind sharing. But in that mentoring relationship, you have to give. So some people get mentoring twisted. They think it's just about you help me because I'm in a lower space, and they don't understand that everybody has something to offer. So it's a reciprocal relationship with our mentoring. Because I help her with her projects and things that she has going on. For example, it's this awesome conference on the 25th of June, a couple of days after my event. And I've been aggressively working on that too. And that's for people, it's around mental health, trauma, and domestic violence, and people in the field and in the work, helping to support them and bringing all of those fields together. So working on that, but helping her with her projects and supporting her while she helps me and guides me, and I'm able to learn a lot even by helping. So interning mentorships are huge. Connecting and aligning yourself with positive, like-minded people, you know, through mastermind groups or through think tanks, because you don't know everything, and everyone has skills and benefits and things that they bring to the table. So those are a couple of things, and the main thing for me is just prayer and seeking God for His wisdom, because there's some dark times where I'm like, I don't know how we're going to get the money to pay for 1,000 lunches, you know. I don't know how we're going to do this or how we're going to get this big facility or whatnot. And God is really good. But in that, you know, as the Bible says, faith without works is dead. So just know that if you are given an idea, it's going to come with a lot of work, and be prepared for it.
And that's the thing. You don't have to see the whole. There was a quote from Martin Luther King that says, you don't have to see the whole staircase. If you just see one step, take one step. And I know for 7 years, surely, it's been more days than you didn't know how, than you knew how things are going to happen. But nevertheless, here you are, 7 years later. Somehow it's happened, and we know how.
Exactly. And but meanwhile, I continue to press, and one of our goals with the fundraiser, in addition to helping our ongoing programs, is for us to get a permanent training facility. So in this facility, which, I mean, it's so many empty buildings and empty spaces, you know, I just pray that we are blessed with the space, because our last session that we had was at PNC Bank, which is one of our partners. And it was over capacity, ran out of chairs. It was just that many. It was over 30 women that came for this class on budgeting.
So you want your own facility?
We need our own space, and that would be a good space for me to put up some of the awards to say.
Hello,
Absolutely. But yes, we definitely need it. You know, I would want to have some computer workstations in there, conference room, private offices where we could talk to the clients privately. You know, we don't need a huge space, but we definitely need a permanent space.
And you know what?
Permanent, private, dedicated space.
Yes, and it was interesting because that has been since last year, that has been on my mind, and to the point that I was talking with my partner, Firstborn, that's the president of Iron Fist Global, and they're the title sponsor of this show.
Awesome.
And he's supposed to be coming in later. He's going to hate that he missed you. And I was saying, dang it, I want to help Kayln get a space. But I know that there are things, you know, through nonprofit and through capital gains and through whatever. And let me just tell you how I'm feeling for real, with the way it is now. There's too many empty buildings that folks have just walked away from. Go down there, get the address, research that thing. And I'm not saying squat, but I'm saying occupy. And you can begin to pay the taxes. Because you know what? The county doesn't care. They don't care who's in any particular place until ain't nobody paying the bill. You feel me? And so, we ain't gonna get into where I am on that, but I feel, especially with this all these vacant homes, I feel like in the city of Detroit, no one should be homeless unless they choose to. And I'm gonna tell you, people, and I'm saying, and see this whole thing about squatters and this negative perception of squatters, going somewhere if you choose to, because I feel like if you can maintain the property, don't go in there pissing in buckets and looking out the window like a fugitive. Live in there like a resident. Live in there as an asset to that neighborhood, that block, that community. Go to the neighborhood organization. Make yourself an asset. Be a part of the patrol that watches And if you're doing that and oh, that's good, Mrs. So-and-so. They ain't got to know, I'm in here because you got the lights on, you're paying that, you're paying Wayne County what they need, who needs to know. Now, that's just the way I would do because times are drastic.
It is drastic. I would,
and I'm not encouraging anything illegal. Yes. I'm just saying what's real. And I know you can't co-sign. I
cannot.
No, but Kayln like, girl, shut up.
But I will say that, the majority of the women that you see that are homeless is a result of domestic violence. So I definitely support advocates like Cassandra and organizations like COTS that help with regards to housing and shelter, and really that are looking for solutions to the problem. Like, what are ways that people can find solutions? Because I would hate for someone to do it. I've seen that on the news, and they've invested in trying to be a good neighbor, and then it's taken from them. So I would hate for that to happen to someone, but there needs to be some rules and policies and procedures to help people to transition into housing, because the homeless problem and the empty housing problem, it seems like those two things could come together and find a reasonable solution for them.
And good could be done, and people rebuilding their lives from domestic violence could be put into some of these places. And when we don't have all of the solutions written in a plan, I'm like, if you have all these, they always talk about the unemployment. See, and I listen to the news differently than other people do. When I hear about the unemployment rate, that tells me we have a lot of skilled people out there with a lot of time. So, and
that's how I look at the unemployment rate, because they don't factor how many people have been kicked off of the unemployment. They're now on the unemployment roll that just aren't getting anything. They aren't working, but they aren't getting anything. And so we're actually looking for commercial space if possible, office building versus a shelter or a home.
I feel you.
But we are looking for that.
That's
and
what
so
I'm talking about, a vacant commercial space. That's just me talking. That's not Kayln. I messed up. Kayln like, look here. And bring it on back to the
we definitely need more corporate sponsors to step up to donate to reach our goal, because we actually have identified a space that we can have it renovated, furnished, technology for like $17,000. That's nothing. That is such a small amount to do so much over time.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, in the future, if ever, you need a platform here, if there's ever anything that I can help share, promote, or give me a list of folks to call and let them know, whatever, I can do to help promote, because I believe in what you do and I support what you do because it makes a real difference in the world and in the quality of people's lives. And I wanted to mention, I saw recently that another one of your honorees for your coming event is Sylvia Hubbard. And I just wanted to shout out Sylvia Hubbard. And what is the award that she is being given this year?
She is getting our Safe Ambassador Award because Sylvia actually goes out in the community and talks about us all the time. She reposts our stuff in social media. She has tried to connect us with potential office space. So we are on her mind, and she's out in the community being an ambassador to our organization. So we wanted to honor her and thank her for that.
That's a beautiful thing, and I mentioned that because Sylvia Hubbard, the founder of the Motown Writers Network, she's also partnering with us at Life Without Limits, and we have a new segment on the show this season called Off the Shelf, where we do interviews with authors, and partnering with Motown Writers Network. So you see, she's all over, supporting everybody.
Yes, she is.
I love you, Sylvia Hubbard. I just wanted to shout her out, because she's wonderful. And that's what I'm talking about. People, another mom with kids, and and as much as she does, I'm like,
does a lot.
And you still maintain a household, and you still, got to do homework, and you still got to be mom, and that's what it is right now.
Yes, it is.
Especially as, more and more people maybe aren't in, maybe they've been displaced through employment or whatever the case may be, people that are pursuing their dreams and living life too. I don't know, but always connecting and realizing that we are one, and realizing that supporting each other is the only way.
And I really want to also encourage your listeners, even if you aren't ready to make a transition right now, start to volunteer for organizations, because then you can see what you like, what you don't like, but in addition to that, you also, because that's what when I was still working, I volunteered. So then I was able to call on those people in those organizations, like, this is what I'm doing now, and they gave me some resources and referrals that helped to propel me forward.
Beautiful.
I want to explore today the feeling of there are no limits. In my mind, my limitations sometimes have moments of I can't do this, and I've done that before, and I'm too this and I'm too that. So if I can stop and ask myself, well, is that true? If it's true that there are no limits, that means that anything is possible.
I know life can be difficult, but don't you let it get you down.
Life's full of challenges, but you can handle it. God wouldn't give it if you couldn't manage it. The world's so cold and you only one soul. Make sure when those lights go out, you got candles lit. It gets hard like the storm ain't gonna never stop, but when it does, there's a rainbow in gold pots. Whether you rich or broke, paid or no job, you a star. There's no end to how far you can go to. For the new and the old school, don't let them say what you can and what you won't do. The only one with that power is in the mirror, so you can live life with no limits. Listen,
I know life can be difficult, but don't you let it get you down. Really achieve. It's a new